Hello, this is Jared. So, this whole nonsense with the condominium. We've been here 20 years. Moved in being reassured there was good maintenance. The outside of the building would be maintained, nice, good-looking grass, hedges trimmed, trees trimmed, and water infiltration would be kept at a minimum. Everything was going to be fine. We just had to worry about the inside of our place. But then, I was working with a construction company that was actually hired by the association to look into some issues around here. And we had a tool that opened up the walls very easily, and we could take a little look inside. And what we saw was dreadful. The inside of the walls were soaking wet, saturated. The reason why we had a suspicion this was going to be the case is we realized there was a design defect with the product, and they had been installed wrong. They had cut trimming too short, even by a millimeter. That made this system fail. So it looked like the builder already knew there was a problem and just didn't say anything. Hired the association, or actually hired an attorney, his first job as an attorney out of Salt Lake, where he did some producing. And came out here and was essentially told to ignore this little issue, and then when the lawsuits invariably came, to be light in how he sued. So basically, when we told the board, they acted like we were little children seeing a ghost. They acted like they already knew. They were just like, whatever, sure. And we're like, no, look, this is a red flag situation. There is water, soaking water, wet walls. They're saturated. We just completely got blown off. Anyway, eventually they did this Lauren Hardy little investigation and found the problem we were telling them about, but it took them 5 more years to do anything about it. And by the time they took those walls apart, they were rotted. Now, when we looked, they were just soaking wet. They hadn't rotted at all. It still looked fine. Could have just been a simple re-siding project. But now we had some structural issues, major siding, sheathing issues, rotted, a lot had to go off. So that jacked the price up that we had to pay. We won a certain amount in a lawsuit, but it was like the attorney who was hired by the builder to start the HOA sued the builder, so that's a conflict of interest. And then we had to pay more for the reconstruction because the damage had been allowed to go on for so long. We would have had $500,000 more in our reserves right now. And now we got the same construction company, Goreys, and I caught them in unauthorized change orders, bending walls, not demolitioning, not taking stuff out they were supposed to, just covering it up and bending things. And then they said there was a firewall where they were supposed to install one. Nope, I looked, they did it. And then they told me I couldn't look anymore. They were going to forbid me to look at my own attic. And then there's a major beam that's supposed to be over part of the deck. Doesn't exist on any of the decks. They knew it too because they bridged it with the Hardy plank replacement product, and they had to figure out a way to bridge where there was nothing there, nothing at all. So they knew there was no beam, but the head engineer acted like he was surprised. Anyway, it just goes on and on where this Goreys Construction keeps showing up. They told us the AMS, Association Management Services, Goreys Construction, we were told was in with other bids, but no, it turned out they were the only bid. But AMS, our HOA, the president, the attorney, all lied to all the homeowners and told us they had multiple bids for years, stuffing us into a corner. It just goes on and on. So anyway, they had been hiring me to do paint jobs around here, and what kind of opened this all back up was this crazy acting individual. She just runs stop signs, crosses over the center median, speeding through, doesn't care if kids are on the bikes, trying to be safe. She doesn't care. She goes, "What's the matter?" Anyway, I asked her to slow down. There's children playing. She told me she could do whatever she wants. She runs the association. I'm like, "Who are you, man? You're not on the board or anything." She assured me she had full control over the board and was going to cause me to get fired. They were going to charge me for removing the stuff they had just hired me to do. I thought, that's pretty ridiculous. and then they were going to fine me and a bunch of other stuff and start violating us for the dumbest things that we had never been violated for, and then ruin our reputation, get our credit ruined, go after our bank account. And we thought, I'm thinking, nutcase, you know. Well, the board shortly after did exactly as she told them to do. Fired me without telling me, power washed some of the work behind my back just at nighttime, didn't tell me, and they had plenty of time to tell me that they were going to, anyway, they called it graffiti. They put a graffiti on my permanent record, and it's still there. And this is what they hired me to do. So it's graffiti, vandalism, they call it, for doing exactly what I had done multiple times over the 18 years they had hired me to do this. And it's turning out what it was is they were trying to discredit me because our family knew about the water infiltration issue, and they were starting to let the foundations get all full of water now. And that's so they can have the sill plate and that wall have to get replaced. And I put a stop to that. And they're trying to charge me. They're trying to charge me for the landscaping that I've been fixing. Trees that came down in the windstorms, they wouldn't cut out. And they said, oh, it's going to be there for months. I took care of that. They're trying to charge me. They offered me $800 for something that they owe me a lot more. They owe me thousands of dollars. And they wanted me to sign my rights away. I said, no way. So now they're trying to charge me $800. This very video they're going to watch, and they're going to try and charge me $800 just for watching it. Now, that's against my First Amendment rights. You know, my First Amendment rights supersedes any of your condominium violations or any of the unlawful acts you guys are doing. So anyway, we got a real problem here. We got, I'm just hitting the tip of the iceberg. I caught them on skimming. They lied over the years saying trees have been cut, hedges trimmed, grass and all this stuff taken care of. Nothing. I documented it all. I got thousands of photographs. The ground looks like the moon now. Grass is all yellow everywhere year round. And then what little they fixed, they're trying to charge me because it's the area I've been working on to stop the flooding into my foundation, because I don't want to see my foundation keep getting flooded for 15 more years. And now they're trying to charge me, and they want to bring the flooding back. So talk about illegal or criminal neglect, breach of contract. They're harassing us. They're trying to come at us with like a $10,000 bill or whatever, and we got to come after them now for legal expenses. I mean, this is Madison Place. Don't want to be in this condominium.